Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Elaine here, the Animal Reiki Lady. Hey, give everybody a minute or two just to jump on. Hi, doggies. Yep, got some more dogs here this evening. I'm just going to kind of adjust a little bit. I am in a dark old farmhouse. So yeah, the like as the last time, the lighting here is not the best, but that's okay, right? You guys don't need to worry about that. We'll let everybody go in here first. Hi, guys. Who's ever joining me live? Hopefully you'll be able to see me okay. I am farm sitting. So I've got two doggies here, cats, alpaca, goats, sheep, chickens, ducks. Just got done putting everybody to bed, and I realized just how dark it got. So it's what it is. All right, hello everybody. Teresa, how you doing? It's good to see you. Julie, nice to see you as well. Tracy. All right, glad you guys can see and hear me. Okay, this is Moose. Moose. Oh, we're gonna knock over the computer. Hang on a second. Moose, and Bear. We're gonna have to go outside. 10 seconds, guys, while I put these guys outside. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Go. And we're back. All right. Thank you guys for your patience. Oh my gosh, look at everybody jumping on. Sharon, good to see you. Yeah, Sherry, good to see you as well. Moose, yeah, just went outside. Okay. Grounding and centering. Lots of really good stuff to share this evening. I have a message from Chewy, and I have a reading for Nelly Maya, and so many things to share with you about forgiveness that I'm really looking forward to tonight's session. And as usual, as soon as I brought on the photos of Nelly Maya and Chewy, instantly things started to come through to me. So it'll be a combination of, I'm getting distracted by comments again, combination of readings that are things that have already started to come through to me and things that come through to me as we talk live. And Julie is making dog cookies. Awesome. That is so cool. Okay, so what do we want to talk about tonight? And 18 Muses, hello, everybody. You're welcome to say hello, even if we've never connected before. Say hi. I believe that one of the people who we're doing the reading for is in the UK, so that's really late. It's 7 hours ahead of where I am, so we're talking well after midnight. And Teresa is saying, I'm hoping you get to me about Molly. Don't worry, I absolutely will. For everybody who has requested, I'm going back through all of the emails. I'm trying to go in chronological order. The folks who've been waiting the longest are the ones who I'm starting with first. And then, unless, of course, every once in a while, somebody just jumps in and jumps through. Today's reading happens to be from someone who is far back on the list, who was next in line, but also came through to me today in the most unusual way. And I love to share these synchronicities because you just can't make this stuff up. And if I could, I'd be like some millionaire novelist or something. But okay, let's get started. Tonight we are going to talk about forgiveness and why forgiveness is important, and not only the biggest thing that might be keeping you from connecting with your animal on the other side of life, but it's just the biggest thing holding you back in general. Holding a grudge and withholding forgiveness is what I call it, is just a really one of the denser energies that really keeps us mired. And we can kind of lift the weight right off of our shoulders when we practice forgiveness. So I do have a couple examples to share with you, one of my own and the other is from Chewy. Reasons why we should forgive, and even in the hardest circumstances. And both Winston and Chewy's probably a little bit more distressing than Winston was, but I won't bring everybody down with all the details. I'll just give some high level details. And thank you guys all for watching. I'm so excited to have you here. I will try to keep my eye on the comments from time to time. For those of you who may be watching one of my live streams for the first time, this is only the third one, and the first one was a practice one. I do things unscripted. I like to talk from the heart. I share with you what comes to me as we are talking. I do have a couple of notes to make sure that I cover some things on forgiveness. I already started automatic writing for both Chewy and Nelly Maya. I use automatic writing as my way to receive messages from souls on the other side and then to convey those messages to you. I go into a meditation, I close my eyes, I open my heart, pick up my pen as an extension, common old big pen, as an extension of the universe, and I just begin to write the things that flow through to me. And Nelly Maya today in particular, wowzers. Kenny, oh my goodness, good to see you guys. I'm so happy to see this whole community coming back. Love you guys. Okay, let's talk about forgiveness and why forgiveness is important. It is one of the hardest things that we can do, especially when we're going to focus on animals, especially when our animal companions have experienced something challenging in life, specifically right before they transitioned. So forgiveness becomes important so that we lighten the load. Where do I want to start? I want to start with energy. So science has shown us that everything is energy. Everything. It's just energy vibrating at a different frequency. So you can look at a rock, a cat, a person, a plant. Everything is the way that we organize things in this universe, the way that we organize things on our planet and keep things organized is to have this energy vibrating at different frequencies. And we translate those frequencies as what we see, hear, taste, smell, touch. Okay. You can go back to Einstein, Tesla, I don't care who, what scientist, even now quantum physics, whatever scientist you want to take a look at, they'll describe for you that everything is energy. But what is energy? So everything's energy, but that doesn't really answer the question, because what is energy? In my mind, energy is the frequency at which something vibrates. I'm not a scientist, so any of my scientists out there, correct me if I am wrong, because I will. I'll be happy to correct myself. So I feel that it is the frequency at which something vibrates that helps us organize all the energy. It helps us organize everything around us so that we can live in this world that we live in. And I call it low frequency or high frequency. Low frequency is really dense, slow energy, and high frequency is really high, positive, soaring energy. When our animal companions or any soul crosses to the other side, they immediately cross into the most highest vibration, pure positive energy. And I'm using this as an example. They are riding high. They are just riding high up here, while slower, denser energies keep us low. So that it's really, I'm using like a pressing motion. It's lowness. So if we are here, and the lower the emotion, the denser the emotion, like guilt, grief, anger, worry, holding a grudge, whatever, what do we call not forgiving someone? It keeps us way down here. So we're way down here while our animal companion is way up here. So how can we possibly connect with them? We connect through a forgiveness practice, or through meditation, or through just opening our heart with love. But forgiveness, a lack of forgiveness, holds us down here. Holding a grudge keeps us down here. So we just can't connect. When we do the practice of Ho'oponopono that I'm going to explain in just a little bit, it helps lighten the load, our vibration rises, and we get a little bit closer to our animal companion who might be up here. But here's the secret. They will come down to meet us. When we make the effort to raise our vibration, they have the miraculous ability to come meet us at our level. And then we can connect with them. And then we can receive signs. And then we can feel them in our heart. And then we receive downloads and knowing. And we just have this understanding that we are still connected. And we'll always be connected. Last week, I kind of talked about twin flames and soulmates. We will always be connected. Just sometimes we can't hear them. Sometimes they can't get through, and we can't get through. So we practice something like Ho'oponopono to kind of get us on the same level. I'm just going to take a quick, Lisa, Charlie, I received your email about Charlie. That was one of the most recent ones. So it's going to be a little bit, but yes, I will absolutely do a reading for Charlie. Jeannie, nice to see you. Progressively you. Hello from Montreal. Nice to see you. I love that we get people from all over. Last week we had people from Sweden and the Netherlands, and it's very cool. Okay, let me check my notes on energy before I continue, and frequency and forgiveness. Okay, so what to forgive? We need to adjust our connection. Okay, so we're good so far. Who to forgive is probably the better way to phrase that. Who to forgive, whether it's situation, person. Who is it that we're supposed to forgive? I can think of a number of situations. I'm going to give first the example of Winston. That's the easy example. My Winston, the one who needed to be forgiven, was Winston. I needed to forgive Winston. When Winston, I've told this story before for those of you who may have heard it before, but it's just always an interesting story to tell anyway. And for those of you who have not heard, Winston is a rescue dog. And he was brought to me by angels. There's no other explanation. My husband and I were living in a remote area of Colorado where there was very little access. And we lived quietly on our own. There was no people around. And one day Winston showed up at our door, and we don't know where he came from. And I took him to the local veterinarian to be scanned for a microchip, no collar, no nothing. I took him to my veterinarian, who said he's suffering from extreme health conditions, and that it would be only a matter of days that he would survive. So why don't I take him home if I was willing, which of course I absolutely was. He was the sweetest little dog. If I would take him home, nurture him, care for him, love on him, and let him cross in ease and peace. And that is exactly what my intention was. So I brought him home, and that beautiful Winston, in fact, what the veterinarian said to me was, feed him a cheeseburger, let him know life is good in his final days, and he will pass peacefully on his own. Well, I swear he had that cheeseburger, and he stayed for 2.5 years after we brought him home that night, and became my soul dog. He was the love of my life. The dog I had looked for all my life was Winston. And I knew he was so sick. He had many health conditions. He was deaf. He had congestive heart failure, and he had a grade 6 heart murmur. So you could feel his little heart beating outside of his skin. And I thought we had a deal. I was so certain. I cared for him and nurtured him and took him everywhere, and he was my little shadow. I was so sure that when the day came, he would curl up in my lap, as we all might imagine. I visualized him curling. He was a small dog, curling up in my lap, and I would just be stroking his head, letting him know that everything was fine, all was well. He was free to pass, and his passing would be peaceful. And it didn't go like that. I was gone for 4 hours. I came home, and Winston had chosen to cross. And not only had he chosen to cross without me, this is going to bring a little bit of emotion, and that's okay. Not only had he chosen to cross without me, but he had chosen to, this is where it gets emotional. He had chosen to cross within a week of my beautiful Lucy. So Lucy, who had an assisted crossing, within 1 week, Winston crossed. I was so hurt. Saying the words is what kind of brings up the emotion. I was hurt. My feelings were hurt. My heart was hurt. Everything that I thought would happen did not happen. And then I was angry. I was flat out angry. And when I sat down with this, I sat with these feelings. I recognized them. I sat with them. I did my meditation. I reached out to Winston, and he sent me a beautiful visual. Even from my place of anger, he sent me a beautiful visual of him enjoying the beach. I could see him so clearly because he couldn't hear on earth, but he could hear in heaven. And he was chasing birds and jumping in the air and listening to the ocean. And it was a beautiful visual that he sent to me. And I realized I did realize I needed to forgive him. And I needed to forgive him. I needed to forgive him for hurting my feelings. I needed to forgive myself because I'm the one who allowed myself to feel the hurt and the anger. And I needed to forgive my hubby. This is now it's amusing. Then it wasn't, because my hubby was home the whole time and didn't even realize that Winston had passed, because he thought he just laid down to go to sleep. And I was mad at my husband too. So all of that, I was carrying all of that weight. And I had just recently learned Ho'oponopono. And when I sat down with Ho'oponopono, which I'll teach you guys in just a couple of minutes, that's when I felt for the first time a weight lift. I didn't even realize that I'd been carrying it like a suit. I've been carrying it like a lead vest. And to feel that lifted from me, and then everything kind of shifted with Winston. So that's a situation to forgive. You might need to forgive your pet for crossing. You might need to forgive your animal companion for leaving you behind. You might need to forgive your animal companion for crossing when you least expected it. I've had people reach out to me with situations like, all I did was I fell asleep on the sofa, or all I did was go into the kitchen for a glass of water. And we need to forgive them for that, because every single animal, I firmly believe, is a sentient being, and they need to cross on their own terms. And what I learned when I practiced Ho'oponopono from Winston, what I realized was that he saw how easy it was for Lucy to transition, and he knew that Lucy would be waiting for him on the other side. And so he chose to take the easy path, and he crossed. But I couldn't have seen that without forgiving first, without letting that weight go. Okay, so that's Winston. Let me look at some stories here real quick. I mean, some comments here real quick. We need to forgive ourselves for making. Okay, that's the other situation, Kenny. So there's two situations I'm going to share with you right now. Let's see. First, let's go with making the decision to assist. Absolutely. So when we make the decision to assist, and I'm going to try to explain this in a way that I know that some of you will hear it and others will not agree with it, and that's okay. We don't have to agree. I'm offering you my perspective from all the animals that I've worked with all these years. When we offer assistance to an animal who's crossing, it's something that we hold ourselves accountable for, and we need to forgive ourselves. So Ho'oponopono for self-forgiveness, beautiful practice. We'll get into that in just a minute. Our animal companions, when they reach a physical condition, it's a question, and we need to decide for ourselves. And people ask me if I can help them reach that decision, and the answer is no. I always tell you to sit down, call it prayer, call it meditation, whatever you want to. It needs to be a beautiful, spiritual, loving collaboration between you, your animal companion, and your medical care provider. There comes a time, I think, when even human beings would say, if I had a choice with my quality of life, what is the choice I would make? I would ask for assistance. I'm speaking to you from personal experience. I know that my father would have asked for assistance. I think it is the most selfless act we can do. The most selfless act that we can offer our animal companions is to allow them to transition to the other side of life, especially when their little bodies are failing them. Our bodies exist for a certain period of time, and there are some things that are ageless, but there are some things that are not. And our time here on Earth, and time is so irrelevant. Time is something linear that we put together in our mind. And I heard this really beautiful phrase today, and I haven't finished listening to this podcast, and I'll share more about it maybe at another time. But that time is just a series of memories, that if we didn't actually have memory, we would have no sense of time, because how else would we know that there was a past except that we can remember it? And anyway, and I can't remember how the future was explained, but regardless, when the time comes for their little bodies to end and their spirit to go to the other side, our animal companions actually make that choice. This is the part where I'm not sure that everybody is going to agree with me. There is no animal ever that does not leave on his or her own terms. Even if they are assisted, or even if they have an accident, experience an accident, if they are, I don't like to use really dense words like killed, but if something causes them that is unnatural for them to cross, they are souls with sentient beings, and they have all decided how they're going to cross. And they come to spend this time here on Earth for a very special reason. Every single animal enters our life for a reason. Every single animal, including the raccoon who knocks over the trash cans, the next door neighbor's dog who won't stop barking at 2 o'clock in the morning. I need to grab a tissue, guys. Winston made me cry. The neighbor's dog who cries at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why do I not come prepared for these things? Hang on a quick second. I've got to grab a tissue. Just a minute. I'm here. Don't go anywhere. Maybe I'll bring Mama Cat over to see you guys. Hey, Mama Cat. Here, I'll bring you guys a little surprise. This is beautiful Mama Cat. Say hi, Mama Cat. Look at those blue eyes. Look at those beautiful. Oh, Mama Cat saying, let me go back to sleep. Okay. So assisted back to, there's a reason why those breaks happen too. I always go with it. Assisted crossing is possibly one of the most selfless acts that you can do. It helps our animals avoid pain. It helps them leave a body essentially that might be suffering. and we assist them with that. And it's hard on us. It's hard on us to make that choice. But I promise you that God, Allah, Buddha, the universe, whatever you want to call it, divine source energy would not allow anything to happen that wasn't meant to happen for these beautiful animals. Okay, so that's for assisted. Let me just look at these comments real quick. Working on self-forgiveness, but the situation and others, not so much, right? Okay, so I'm going to talk about the situation and other people. And the what if. Kenny, I know, what if? So I know these feelings. I know these feelings. Both Lucy and Jack had assisted crossings. They were in so much pain. And Lucy finally gave me the look. So I've mentioned this before to you guys, that sometimes your animal companion will look at you in such a way that just says, I'm tired. I'm so tired. Mama, I can't do this one more day. That was Lucy. Jack, on the other hand, Jack would have stayed through all the pain. Jack was one of those animals who never indicated exactly how much pain he was in, exactly how bad he hurt, until he couldn't get up. And I think that he would have laid there continuing to suffer for the sake of my husband. And it was my husband who selflessly said, it's time to help him. So yeah, assisted crossing, that's real. That's a situation. Now, another situation I'm going to bring to you. This is for someone who reached out, not for a reading, just to know that their animal companion was not lost between worlds, which does not happen. There's no such thing as lost between worlds. This is all one beautiful soup of energy here in the universe, on other planets, on the other side of life. It's all one beautiful, beautiful, I don't know how else to describe it, soup. And there is no stuck. We don't get stuck between worlds. Animals in particular, if we want to think of it from a religious perspective, the way I was raised, animals, they don't have a deceitful bone in their body. They can't lie. They can't cheat. They can't steal your wife. They can't, all those things that are the commandments that I was taught as a child. It doesn't apply to animals. There's no purgatory. They don't need to go someplace and work off their sins before God lets them into heaven. It doesn't work that way. They immediately transition into pure positive energy. I can't remember why I started to get into that. I'm still looking at the comments. Okay, so I'll get back into it. I'll figure out why it came to me that way. So they transitioned to pure positive. Oh, because Chewy's human wanted to know if he got lost, stuck between worlds because of the way that he crossed. And the answer is absolutely not. Not only that, I know that Chewy is right by your side. So for Chewy's human, I've sent you an email. I don't want to use names unless I have permission. For Chewy's human, Chewy is right by your side, kissing your face every single day. Here's the situation that needed to be healed, or that still even needs to be healed for Chewy. Chewy was aging and had a health condition, and Chewy experienced a traumatic health event in the presence of his human. And his human did exactly what I would do, and probably what many of you would do. His human started to perform pet CPR. I would absolutely 100%, if I saw my animal struggling, there would be nothing that could keep me from attempting CPR and respiratory breath, rescue breath. And Chewy came back to himself. I'm just gonna, okay, I won't look at comments just yet. Chewy came back from the heroic efforts of his human companion. The situation is that for the next 2 days, Chewy's health was just as bad as it was before. Chewy was in pain. Chewy was really in pain. Chewy was suffering, and Chewy's human holds himself responsible for actually performing CPR and life-saving measures. I can tell you right now, I forgive you, and not that you need my forgiveness, but I bet everybody else on this who's watching this video forgives you as well. Even if they're not watching it now, they watch it in the future, because I think we would all do that same thing. We would all step in front of moving trains to save our animals. At least I know that I would. And quick answer, the answer is yes, Lisa. Charlie forgives you. There is no lack of forgiveness. I get the sense that they say to us, what are you talking about? Do I forgive you? I'm in heaven It's beautiful here. I have cheeseburgers for life on the other side. So from the other side, there's nothing to forgive. We need to do the forgiving here. So Chewy's human, ho'oponopono for you, so that you can forgive yourself for what you think was a life-saving measure that ended up with a couple more days of pain and suffering for your beautiful animal companion. But every single one of us, as I said, I would step in front of a train for my dogs. So that's part of it. But then when the veterinarian came to the home, it was, I will not go into all the details that Chewy's human shared with me, but it was not a positive experience. In my experience, the majority of veterinarians only want the best for your animal companion. They want peace, they want calm, they want transition. I say this because I work with a veterinarian. I work with a mobile veterinarian, and we go to people's homes to help them with the assisted crossing. I know that most veterinarians do everything in their power to help that experience be one of peace and calm, and we do everything possible to keep it as peaceful as possible for both the human and the animal companion. Hang on a second. I'm sorry, it's really dry here. This is not wine, it's water. But in this case, the veterinarian, as described to me, was very abrupt, was all about efficiency as opposed to the needs of the human and the animal companion. Now, with the veterinarian that I work for, we've spent up to hour, 2 hours in a person's home as they grieve, and making the process a little bit smoother, and just trying to help with the whole situation. But regardless, this particular veterinarian, the whole situation as described to me was the last thing we would ever want our animal to go through. Yeah, that's as far as I'll go with it. I won't go into any other detail. So in a situation like that, the situation, we need to forgive everything. The situation, our animal companion, ourselves, the veterinarian. In this case, the veterinarian. And I can't tell anybody to forgive someone else. All I know is that I have known the freedom of forgiveness, and the weight and the burden that it placed on me not to extend forgiveness. Now, in the Hawaiian tradition, we're going to talk about ho'oponopono. In the Hawaiian tradition, if someone refuses to extend forgiveness, first of all, they'll keep practicing ho'oponopono. Like the entire village will practice ho'oponopono until the situation is resolved. And if there's a person who refuses to give forgiveness, there's social consequences to that, because in the Polynesian tradition, it's one of the heaviest, densest things that can happen to the whole community. It impacts the whole community, not just the people involved in whatever the situation might be. So that's where ho'oponopono comes in. So let me just check some. Okay, all right. Lisa, we'll come back to all that stuff. Okay, so let's see what other situations. I wrote myself some notes just to make sure here. So who would we forgive? Ourselves, our spouses, veterinarians, our animal companions, strangers, whoever may have been driving the car that hit the little doggy, anything like that, anything at all. Perhaps your cat ran away. Any of those situations, all are worthy of forgiveness, because our animal companions want to be able to connect to us. They want to connect to us as much as we want to connect to them, because they want to show us that life goes on. They want to show us that they're still with us. They want to show us that love continues. They want us to feel the freedom of knowing that they're still by our side, not just by our side, but they can help us. We can ask them questions. We can seek counsel from them. They're now on the other side of life with God, Allah, Buddha, universe, divine spirit, whatever you want to call it. They're there, and they now have the ability to help us make this 3D life just a little bit easier to live, and they want to connect with us. Okay, so what is ho'oponopono? And I am just going to Well, that's a challenging question, Sherry. So does an animal choose to have aggressive behavioral issues? We could really go that this could be a conversation that we could go very, very deep into. Um, our animal companions choose the situations that they find themselves in, just like we do before we come here. However, I think one of the reasons I'm a Reiki practitioner and I specialize in animal Reiki, and that includes working with animals who have aggressive and behavioral issues. Um, there's always a lesson to learn from them. And I've seen aggression turned completely around. I've seen it turned completely around with magical healing, miraculous healing that I have no explanation for. But I have also seen animals who are unable to get over the aggression. And so I'm trying to put this in a way that is the most tender and the most sensitive way. If an animal chooses that life on the other side is preferable to life here on earth, then we honor their choices. We honor their preferences. And there's no other way for me to put that. And I don't ask that. I don't demand. I don't need anybody to agree with me. These are my feelings and my insights, having shared Reiki with animals now for almost a dozen years. That if an animal chooses life on the other side is preferable to life here, then I honor their choice. And that's all I can say. Okay. I'm just going to read this quick message from 18 Muses because it is perfect. Several months after my cat Scout transitioned, she came through loud and clear to me, stop blaming Dr. Lee, her veterinarian. Never would have said that at the time, so I knew it was her 100%. Our animals they will always try to come through to us. Always, always, always. But if I can help you make it easier through like a practice like Ho'oponopono, I'm trying to keep track of the time here. Okay, we're good for time because I still want to do my readings yet. I'm going to share with you Ho'oponopono right now. So I say that word because I've said it a bazillion times. Ho'oponopono, like Hawaii. Ho'oponopono. It's a Polynesian word. I'm losing all my lights here. Sorry, guys. Is what it is. It's a Polynesian word, and it means to make right. So the word pono, ho'o, is like the H-O with a little apostrophe and another O, means to make. And pono means right with nature. And in the Polynesian tradition, in the Hawaiian tradition, if they put the words together like pono, pono, it means they mean it twice as much. It's like an exclamation point. It's double emphasis. It means to make doubly right with nature. That's the actual translation, to make right with nature, to make doubly right with nature. Ho'oponopono. Now, there is someone from the West. This was not translated by anyone in Hawaii. If you were to speak to someone who speaks the Polynesian language, they would tell you that the word ho'oponopono does not have a translation. But in the broadest sense, what it means is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. So all of that wrapped up into one word. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're saying that first. Even if we are looking to forgive someone else, we are saying, I'm sorry first. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. In the Hawaiian tradition, what they would share is that we are to set an intention behind the phrase ho'oponopono. So let's say it's Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee is who you're going to hold in your heart. And no matter, it's okay. Embrace it. If you feel anger, resentment, if you're holding somebody responsible and you are holding them fully responsible for what happened to your animal companion, it's okay. Embrace it, hold them in your heart, and set the intention that with this practice, you'll be able to let it go. You'll be able to let it go. Now, there's a saying in the West. We say, forgive but not forget. So I forgive you, but I won't forget. Well, in my book, it's not forgiven. Forgiveness needs to be radical. That's the other term, radical forgiveness. Forgiveness needs to be whole, complete, and without condition. Unconditional forgiveness. That's what Ho'oponopono is. And when you start to do this practice with me, we're just going to do it for a minute or two. And do it if you choose to. If you're watching with me live, if you'd like to go ahead and do it, go ahead and do it. And thank you, Kenny, yep, for supporting 18 Muses with animal communication. It's beautiful, the messages we receive from the other side. But if you'd like to do this with me, just set an intention, even if it's just the most general form of forgiveness. If you're just looking for some relief, because it's hard to hold a grudge. It's not easy to hold a grudge. It makes us feel not good. It's just not a happy feeling. So if you're just looking for general forgiveness, or you want to hold someone in your heart specifically, or if you even just want to forgive yourself or bring your animal companion to mind, that's what I want you to do. So we are going to, the way that we practice Ho'oponopono begins with breathing. I'm just trying to get the light, but whatever, I'll stop fussing with it. I want you to take 2 or 3 nice breaths. Breath is what connects us to the universe. Breathing and focused breathing. As soon as we begin to consciously breathe, so breathe in through your nose, let your whole body feel that breath come in, and exhale back out to the universe. Anything that you might be hanging on to that's not, any stressors from the day, any fears, any doubts, any questions, just kind of breathe them out. So breathe in the universe, breathe in love, breathe in light. Let it fill your body. Let your whole body just feel really good to breathe in fresh energy. And then exhale any energies that you don't want to carry with you. Just let them float off into the air. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you like to, I invite you to bring your hands to your heart. I like this when I practice Ho'oponopono. And set an intention to forgive. And then just listen to my voice and listen to the words. If you'd like to join along with me, that's fine. If you'd like to join along with me in your mind, that's fine too. But breathe in and listen to my words. Ho'oponopono. 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 I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Ho'oponopono. 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 I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Ho'oponopono. 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 I'm sorry for whatever I've done, for whatever I may be holding myself responsible for whatever I may be holding others responsible for. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Please forgive me for anything I may have done, for anything I should have done, for anything I would have done. Please forgive me. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I allow myself to be filled with gratitude. Gratitude for the ease, the lightness, the freedom I feel as I release this burden. I love you. I love you. I love you. Whether I say that to myself, whether you say it to yourself, to another, to an animal, to the universe, to God, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Allow your heart to be filled with love. Let it fill right now from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. Let your body be filled with love. Ho'oponopono. 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 And gently return your focus to your body. Allow yourself to begin breathing again naturally. And it's okay if the tears have begun to flow. It's okay that you felt emotion. It's okay if even just a smidge of forgiveness has snuck through. Move your body as you need to. Gently roll shoulders, stretch. Nice deep breath. And gently open your eyes. Okay. So yeah, even raises some emotion for me still. And I do ho'oponopono all the time. I love to do it, and I love to share it with people. Okay. So now let's, we've done Ho'oponopono, and I encourage you to continue to try it. I've got several videos just about Ho'oponopono. In fact, we're due even for a newer one, even beyond just this little practice. We're due for the whole thing. Okay. And let's now do our reading. So we already did a little message from Chewy. So for Chewy's human, Chewy is not lost. Chewy did not get lost. Chewy is right by your side. Let Chewy into your heart. Feel him licking your tears even now. Let him lick your tears away and know that he is with you, and let your soul feel just a little bit lighter about that. Now, the reading that I want to do, I'm super excited to do this reading for Nelly Maya. Now, let me tell you this about Nelly before I begin this reading. Strange synchronicities happen for me. I'm certain at some point that Beardy's mama will watch this, and Beardy has become my little mascot for this channel, a bearded dragon who came through so loud and clear one day as I was riding the train. I can't even ride the light rail anymore. In Denver, we have a beautiful commuter system, and I can't even get onto any light rail anymore without thinking of Beardy. So Beardy is with me forever. Anyhow, I was riding the light rail one day, and I was just kind of feeling the rhythm, and it was, kind of making me drowsy. And all of a sudden I felt Beardy's presence with me. That's similar to what happened today. And it happens this way, and I have no explanation. And when I tell you about Nelly Maya, you're going to say, oh, well, that's coincidence, or, oh, you made that up. But I promise you, I did not make it up, because I just could not have known. And if I did make this stuff up, like I said, I'll just write a book and become a bazillionaire. Okay. So I'm sitting in this little farmhouse. There's nothing here. There's not even a television. I have my laptop, however. So I pull up what I'd like to watch something. Well, what do I get but the Great British Baking Show? Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm in the US. I know that some people are from Canada, and if anybody's watching from any other country, but here in the US, we love a British accent. Like, I could be pulled into any show just by listening to a British accent. So I'm watching the Great British Baking Show, of all things. And it's a absolutely delightful show if anybody has never seen it. The Great British Baking Show. And here's what they're doing. They are making Yorkshire pudding. I wrote this down. They're making Yorkshire pudding. But the woman who was describing her Yorkshire pudding, but with a Sunday roast. She's going to make the Yorkshire pudding, but with the flavor of a Sunday roast. So in England, if anybody knows anything about England, right, the Sunday roast is a thing, I'm guessing. So if anybody is here from the UK, it's very late there, so I doubt it. A Sunday roast is a thing, and a Yorkshire pudding is a thing. I don't know what they are. Anyhow, Yorkshire pudding. At that moment, I felt that there was an animal trying to connect with me. The same way that I had felt Beardy on the train. All of a sudden, I just had to notice that I just had a feeling that someone was trying to connect with me. And then I got a sense of meowing in British, like with a British accent. If there's ever such a thing, I just got a sense of this really aristocratic meow. And I just knew that the cat that I was going to be connecting with had some kind of connection to Britain. And I was thinking like past life. And I'll go more into that in just a minute. So I decided right then and there, I pull out my book. I'm going to show this to you guys so you know this is what happens when I automatic write. You probably can't see it. I mean, I just start scrolling, and the pen starts going, and the things start coming through, and I've got to write everything that comes down. So I went first to the picture. I went to the oldest emails is the way that I do this. I opened the Read for My Pets email. I scrolled back to the last one that I hadn't looked at, and there was Nelly Maya. So I saw Nelly Maya's pictures. Pretty black cat. And I was like, okay, it's Nelly Maya. I know it clearly. This is Nelly Maya who's getting the reading. So this is what started to come through. As I mentioned, that I sensed this really regal, formal meow, like very aristocratic meow, if there is such a thing. I've got to put my glasses on to read all my little notes. And then I got a sense that I'm sorry. I missed one thing. I have to take one step back. Earlier in the day when I was at home, I recently went to a metaphysical store and I bought this little tiny copper pot. And it's for just special little trinkets. And I love little dishes and stuff. And I bought this little copper pot, and I'm like, what should I put in this copper pot? And I thought, oh, this is perfect for all my seashells. When I was in England 5 years ago, I was on the North Sea, way up by Scotland, in a town called Tynemouth. God, I hope I didn't butcher the name of that town, Tynemouth. And it was right on the sea in the beautiful lighthouse. And when the tide went out, all these shells were around the lighthouse. And I went out and into the tidal area, and I started picking up all these shells. And I put them in a box, and I never looked at them again until today. And today I thought, oh, this is perfect for my seashells. And I opened up my box. I took all the shells out. I put them in a little copper pot. It's important in just a minute. So that was earlier this morning. So then what else does Nelly Maya start to tell me? Nelly Maya tells me that she has been on the earth many, many times as a he and a she. She has been on the earth many times. I'm going to try to get this in order, but I've written the notes everywhere. And not just because she's a black cat. She is magic. She is witchy. She is intelligent. She is smart. She wants her human to go something about a garden witch. Now I know what a garden witch is. A garden witch is what they call someone who knows how to use nature and work with nature and knows all the plants to make into medicines and all that. Anyway, garden witch came through loud and clear. Garden witch. There's something about the roast dinner. The Sunday roast is important. And then she's been on earth many times. Oh, roaming the woods. And I had a sense of ancient woods, like big ancient trees, like what's the forest from Robin Hood? Sherwood Forest, like that kind of ancient woods. I got her roaming freely, happily, but knowing that she had a home there. There was some little home, some cottage where she used to live. And I also got a sense that at one point her name was Cordelia. Cordelia came through loud and clear. Let's see, then what else did she say? Oh, the name Maya means dream or illusion, and that she had the ability. So I would love to know from Nelly Maya's mama, she had the ability to materialize. Would she sometimes appear out of nowhere, like where she shouldn't have been, or where you least expected her? That she had the ability to materialize, and she could come and go as she pleased. And that there may have been times where she spent days and days away from home. And I don't know I don't know much about Nelly Maya's living situation, except one little piece that came through later, and which I can't wait to share with you guys. She has always been meant to be outdoors, 100% meant to be outdoors. She tolerates the indoors and will use the indoors to her advantage for food and shelter. But for the most part, she has always been outside. And something I wrote down the word Noel, like Christmas Noel. I'm not sure what that. There was no reference for that, but I wrote down the word Noel. Now, 2 more pages of this, but not quite as extensive. She says, oh, she gave me a clear visual of a lighthouse, herself in a lighthouse. I could see her clearly in a lighthouse. She was deftly climbing the stairs of the lighthouse and catching things. And it wasn't mice. She was catching bugs. So I don't know if she did that in her current life, but that's the scene that she gave me, that she was in the lighthouse to keep it clean. And this was one of her many lives, was in the lighthouse. And a farmhouse. Oh, right. This came from when I was in the farmhouse today, only the farmhouse that I sensed Nelly in was more of a cottage. I got a cottage with a green door. It was stone and wood. I see this stone, I see this wood, I see this green door cottage. And that Nelly has always lived on the coast, lived specifically in the British Isles on a coast, always with a castle. The castle clearly came through, and I'm still getting the castle. I can see the castle, and it's a small castle. It's not like it's a small little castle. And oh, that's the other thing I meant. Or near a castle. She hasn't lived in a castle. She's always lived near a castle. And that at one point she was rescued. This was when her name was Cordelia. I sensed that she was from the Middle Ages and that she was rescued by royalty. She was actually rescued by royalty because people had tried to kill her. It was in a time when cats were believed to be connected to witches. And so they killed all the cats. If I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me, anybody from England. They were killing all the cats in England because they considered them to be connected with witches. So there was some that was going to kill her, but someone in royalty rescued this cat. She's always been a black cat. I always see her as the same black cat. And in the email that Nelly, this is where it gets interesting. In the email that Nelly's mama had sent me, she just sent me 3 pictures. That was it, just 3 pictures. No explanation. And she said, I'm not sure if you want close-ups or not. I'm not sure if you look into their eyes and see their spirit, or you look for their soul, and that's why you need a picture. Not really. Honestly, I'll just clear that up. I like the picture because it just helps me get to know them right away. I can almost feel like they're with me as soon as I see their picture. I don't have a lot of words to describe how that feeling comes through to me. So it's not like I look into their eyes and see something special. It's just that I feel a connection to them when I see their picture. So I got these 3 pictures. And then I did this reading that you just saw here for Nelly Maya. And I truly sensed that the connection to Britain was in past lives. Because now, I'm not going to use names. I don't have permission. Nelly's human has a very American name. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm sure that it's a British name too, but to me, it's a very American name. So I assumed that she was from here. When I do these readings, I'm trying to keep them since they have so many, I've got hundreds now, and they go back to October. So I'm at October and I pull up Nelly's pictures, and that's great. But then at the end, what I like to do is go back and close the loop. So some people email me 2, 3, 4 times saying, when are you going to get to? When are you going to get to? Can you please? And so I want to pull them all in and kind of clear out my email box, right? I'm just trying to be organized. So as I do that, I see a recent message from Nelly Maya's mama. And without, I didn't want to read the whole thing because I did not want to be influenced in any way. But one of the things that she said was that she was from the northeast coast of England. She didn't give me too much more than that, other than that she was from the northeast coast of England. And on the North Sea is where I'm guessing now, because then it all comes together for me. It all comes together. What prompted me to pull out those seashells from when I visited that area from the North Sea? What prompted me to hear a British, how do you hear a cat with a British accent? And why during the Great British Baking Show did all of this information start to come through to me? I consider it all synchronicity. There is no such thing as coincidence. There's only synchronicities. And this was the time that Nelly Maya needed to come through to me, and she needs to get my attention like that. And so up pops the Great British Baking Show, up pops the Sunday roast. I had this bizarre need to take my seashells out and put them in this new little container. There's no explaining any of this. And then to discover that Nelly Maya is truly from England. I hope Nelly's, I have already sent her an email that Nelly Maya's mama will come through and confirm some of these things for me, and all of the really cool things I got, lifetimes. She is one of the oldest souls that I've ever connected with. I have connected with some animals that I would call old souls. And Nelly Maya is one of the true ancients who brings her wisdom to us. Okay, let me see if there was anything else that I forgot. Just her name about dream and illusion and being able to materialize. That's an interesting one I'd like to know about. So hopefully Nelly Maya's mama will get back to us and confirm any of those things. All right. There's no other messages, and I've kind of gone over. I like to keep these about 45, 50 minutes long. There's no other messages from the animal collective because they came through loud and clear with Ho'oponopono. When I do that meditation, those words are not pre-planned. Whatever comes out, comes out. And I know that it was the animal collective who is right by our side as we extend forgiveness, practice forgiveness, learn to love ourselves again, learn to open our hearts to the love of animals, whether it's our animals on the other side or a new animal who's ready to come into our life, or anyone at all that needs love and forgiveness. I know, I'll just give one example because I know somebody has brought up something about their spouse here in the comments. My husband felt horrible. I was so angry. I was so sad. I was enraged. And all he did was sit there, not know that he had crossed. He didn't even have there wasn't even anything to participate in that resulted in the crossing of Winston. But he felt horrible about it. He felt horrible that I felt bad. And so forgiveness became relief. It was relief for everyone. It was a relief for everyone. And it allows us to connect now with Winston so easily. And I know that you can with your animals as well. All right, my friends, that kind of wraps things up for tonight. I will see you again next Monday. I'm going to keep going with this every single Monday. And I can't wait for more fun readings. I'm going to go in order. If you've sent me a couple emails, don't stress. I promise I will get to you. I'm going to look at the comments real quick. Kenny, yeah, thank you. It was a fun reading. It was really, really a fun one to do. And when I started to put all the pieces together, it became even more fun. You guys are welcome. I love you so much. And I will see you again next week. And until then, may animals light your way. Take care, guys.